Hey, what's up guys? Bob here. I'm going to do a little build guide and review, I suppose, on my Atziri farming character. A lot of you guys in the stream have been asking for it. A lot of people have been coming in the stream, have an exclamation mark build, and have been disappointed. So I'm going to get into a Apex of Sacrifice, run it real quick, and then we'll talk about gear, links, etc., funding of the character, and basically how to get started. So let's do it, boys. Alright, so this character utilizes, I would say, the brokenness of mines and being able to scale mine damage with poison and Bladefall. It does an incredible amount of damage. As you can see, the clear speed is pretty insane. And it only gets better because you're pretty much going to one-shot every phase that Atziri has, and both of the Vaals. And this build is a lot cheaper than some of the new hyped up, you know, the free Uber Atziri killing builds, because a lot of those builds I've seen have had, you know, funding prices of upwards of, you know, 50 and 60 exalts. So this you could actually do with a 6-link tabula or just a 5-link of your choosing. So I'm going to be explaining more about the build once we do finish this Atziri set. And I'll do a little bit of explaining with the bosses and how to tackle them when we do get to them. I'm going to clear all the rooms, so it's definitely worth it to clear all the blue mobs that you can. I do think I missed a room back there, but for the sake of making the video shorter. Alright, so we're going to switch out Minefield when we go into the dual Vaals. Our Whirling Blades to get both of them to proc at the same time. And I'll show you guys when you want to start putting down your mines. Or when I found the best time to put down your mines. So when this turns this way and this turns back and locks in, and right when it locks in, that's when I start placing down my mines. So we do 3 over here, Vaal Lightning Trap. 3 over here, also Vaal Lightning Trap. You just stand in the middle to make sure both of the Vaals are going to be cursed, and they're pretty much going to get one shot. So when they spawn, right when you see the shot come up, okay, so he went underground. So this can happen sometimes. If this happens, just pop your Val Grace, just because once we have Val Grace up, that means we have 75% chance to block attacks and spells. And I'm actually pretty happy that the Vaals glitched like that, so I could show you guys. Normally, about 85% of the time, normally about 85% of the time, the Vaals are both going to come up at the same time and both die simultaneously. So I'm actually pretty happy that they did that little glitch to show you guys how to handle that and not to panic and, you know, get yourself killed. But as you can see, no problem. Not worried about anything. The scariest part of this build is actually doing the trio, and it's not even scary. So I will show you that once we get there. Again, clearing trash, you're pretty much just going to walk up to it. I would switch, you want to switch Minefield back with Conk Effect so you can get that clear. I don't put in Conk Effect when I'm clearing trash because I like to hit more trash than, you know, the lesser with Conk Effect. So and again, oh, we've got some pretty good RNG here. Clearing the trash, you're not really going to take too much damage. We do have 46% chance to block spells and 40% chance to dodge attacks. And with our Jade Flask up, we have 16k evasion, so it's pretty durable, and you're not going to take too much damage to trash. The main problem that you're going to have to worry about is watching for bears, and I mean, really that's it. See, like, we just face tanked, you know, hasted, extra projectiles, Vaal cultists, and didn't take any damage, so. And as you can see, the 2 curses I'm using are Vuln and Temp Chains, and you can see how far it goes. I mean, my AoE on my curses is insane, and that's a big part of this build, and I'll talk about that a little more after this run. So we do want to make sure we're clearing every piece of trash that is here. because it also gives really good gem XP and really good XP period. As you can see, I'm leveling a Bladefall here. I'm leveling 6 Bladefalls in these two offhands as well. Okay, so tackling the trio is the scariest part. It's actually not that bad though, especially with Val Grace, because when we Val Grace, we have 75% chance to dodge attacks and 75% chance to dodge spells. So when you come into the trio, Chaska's always going to be right here. This is who you want to kill first or second. Usually you want to kill her first, and usually she'll die first. So we're going to pop our Val Grace. We're going to run in here. We're going to drop this, pop our Atziri's flask. And, oh, you know, we dropped really low right there. That's what you want to watch out for, is her little firestorm physical rain thing. It does a lot of damage. And another thing, when you are walking up to Chaska, something I didn't do, is don't stand where he cyclones, because if you stand where he cyclones, you're going to take a lot of dot damage like I just did. That was a pretty bad trio kill, but, you know, shit happens sometimes. Again, you want to take your control destruction and switch that back in for your conk effect. That was a pretty bad, pretty unsafe way to run the trio, but see, this is another thing you have to watch out for, is the electric totems. They do quite a bit of damage. We'll cross that bridge in a second. Usually it's a lot safer than that. On stream, you'll see me run that, you know, 500 times and not lose any health. And Atziri is actually probably the easiest part of all of this. There's very few times where you could possibly take damage from her, and that's because you're basically... The entire fight, she is just phasing. She's turning into her split phase and her adds phase. And sometimes you can kill her fast enough to where she doesn't even go into adds phase. Usually I've noticed, though, that that's like pretty RNG based. The snakes are pretty nasty, though. That's one thing you also want to watch out for, is you do not want to be running in Atziri without a staunching flask. But as you can see, everything gets really slowed by my temp chains, and that's also because I have a 20% quality temp chain. See, everything is really slow. It attacks really slow, and pretty much same for the bosses. Hopefully we can get Atziri to do her double flame blast, and I can show you guys that you can be completely out of her double flame blast, and she will still be temp chains and vulned. Okay, so when we come up to Atziri, the only thing you want to do is switch back conk effect for control destruction, because it's going to take you from, you know, 5.6k average to 6.4k, so your damage is going to go up a little bit. Make sure you save your Val lightning traps. I mean, technically you don't really need them, so I pretty much run in here, pop my pots, and just kill her. As you can see, she takes a lot of damage. She's forced to go into split phase. We're going to throw a Val lightning trap on there just in case. You don't really need to, but they do die a lot faster. The one with the blue hand actually doesn't, or cannot be shocked. So if you get one with the blue hand that spawns right here, it should be fine. Here, I'll kill them without, here, look. She's not going to get shocked anyway, but she's still pretty much going to get one shot. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. See, as you can see, the double flame blast is incredibly slow. And that's because she's going to be within range of your curses every time. And so we actually did get lucky enough to kill her without having any ad phase. Also, my Val Grace lasts about 10 seconds, and so that's long enough to get you pretty much through anything in this entire map. Alright, so now I guess we'll go over links and gear. I have made quite a bit of currency off doing Atziri, especially since I have this much after having this many sets as well, and having, you know, still stuff to sell. And having purchased this gear for my last Atziri character. Basically, dagger, you want spell damage, you want attack speed, and the reason you have attack speed on it is so you can whirling blades faster, so that's going to be your main source of mobility, because as you can see, I do not run a Quicksilver Flask, because a Mana Flask is completely necessary. A Jade Flask is super important as well, and Atziri's Promise gives you a lot more damage. No, I want to put that there. Okay. But dagger is going to have spell damage, attack speed, damage over time. If you have those 3 mods on it, your dagger is good to go. That's pretty much it. This dagger cost me, I don't know, 10, 15 chaos, maybe? Maybe? Not too much. Alright, this is where it gets a little bit expensive. Heretic's Veil. It's about 2.5 or 3 exalts right now. I did buy mine for 2. But this is a very big part of the build, as it gives you a level 22 Blasphemy, which is going to scale the AoE of your curses even more, and it's going to level your curses, plus 2 to level of curse gems, and it's going to give them reduced mana reservation. So your vulnerability is going to be... My vulnerability right now is level 21, and my temp chain is also level 21. And they're going to have some insane AoE because of that Blasphemy. This also gives you about 400 evasion. It gives you a little more than that. I don't have it qualityed right now. Don't know why. I probably should get some armor scraps and do that, but that's okay. I'm not scaling a lot of energy shield because we do have acrobatics, but that's pretty much it for the helm. It's pretty self-explanatory helm. So we'll go on to the shield. Okay, so again, you guys are probably wondering why don't you just use an evasion shield? Because I wanted spell damage and life, and you can only get spell damage on a fossilized or on a spirit shield, not a fossilized shield. On a spirit shield, so that's why I went for this. I just got one with high life, got one with stats I needed. I have the strength, so I can level up my increased duration and have a cast when damage taken and mortal call set up. Necklace just resists life, you know, more strength on it for more life. You know, more resist, more life, more resist, more life. It's pretty much going to be all your jewelry has is resist and life, including your belt, because you're going to lack resist in your boots, your helm, and that's pretty much it, I guess. I lack resist in my chest piece, but you could figure that out pretty much. We're using Atziri steps, so without our Valgrace up, we have 40% chance to dodge attacks, 45% chance to dodge spells, and it's pretty awesome. We could probably keep up Valgrace permanently, which caps us for chance to dodge. We'll have 75% in each of those, but I think having acrobatics and face acrobatics, this cluster is just insane for evasion builds. And as you can tell, a lot of the Uber builds do have our CI, so they have that insane effective life, but this is mainly meant for Atziri. It's a cheaper Atziri build, pretty much one-shots everything again, and you only need about 5k life. You could, if you have 5k life at least, you could put on a tabula, and you could do this with way less money investment than I've actually put in my character. I do have a 1600 evasion chest piece. I did chaos this myself. It is 6 link. I bought it for about 2.5 for two exalts or 2.5 exalts, and then I started to chaos spam it myself. Did get the high evasion that I was looking for and the life that I was looking for. But that's pretty much it. Again, you can run this with a tabula as long as you have 5k life. You do not need like an insane amount of evasion. Gloves are gonna make up for a lot of your resist as well, so we got some decent evasion and life and resist gloves here. And that's pretty much it for that. Flasks, I've got a Seething Staunching. Of course, you're gonna want a Seething Divine of Staunching, quality 20. So when you drop low, you can just double pot. I've got a Razor Naga, so it's easy for me to pot multiple pots at the same time. Boom, 2 pots. That takes me to, you know, half health already because I've got Flask Effectiveness on the tree. Atziri's Promise, because when we lay down the traps and use our Atziri's Promise, it increases our damage a lot because it gives you 25% or 24, depends on your roll. I've got a perfect one, but you know, it doesn't really matter that much. 24% of physical extra damage as chaos, and chaos also scales the poison damage that you're going to be doing with your poison gem. So Atziri's Promise is insane. A Jade Flask, Alchemist Jade Flask is staunching. I like the increased effect because I like to have an insane amount of evasion, and I hardly ever use this, and it's always up. And when I do use it, I want it for that increased effect for, you know, those 3 seconds, because that's all you really need it for. And then Mana Flash, just whatever Mana Flask. I haven't even crafted this one, as you can see. It doesn't really matter too much what your Mana Flask is. As far as skill gems go, we do have faster attacks, Fortify, Whirling Blades. Incredible move speed, get you where you need to go quickly. Can get you, if Atziri starts charging up Flame Blast, just one quick boom, you're out of it. Double Flame Blast, 2 quick Whirling Blades, you're out of it. Again, I really don't even have much stuff linked to this. This build does not require a lot of links. As you can tell, I have Flame Dash as well as Whirling Blades. So I've got my Vulnerability and my Temp Chains, and then 2 open links here for really whatever. You could go try Curse and Run Enfeeble if you're feeling like you are unsure if you could you know, if it's your first time doing Atziri, maybe you could run Enfeeble as well. Just get a Dodre ring on and make up for resists elsewhere. But just vulnerability, temp chains. A lot of our damage scaling comes from curse effectiveness, and I'll show you guys that once we get to the tree. Flame dash, control destruction. I just switch conk effect, control destruction, and I'm constantly switching between these and all that stuff. This isn't actually a Saffel stream, by the way. It has just the skin. So 6 link, we have Bladefall, Trap and Mind Damage, Poison, Remote Mine, Minefield, Control Destruction. If I were to have this in a 5 link, I would just take out Control Destruction, and you would have Remote Mine, which is necessary, Poison, Trap and Mind Damage, Bladefall, and Minefield. And I wouldn't recommend trying to do Atziri with a 4 link. You could possibly, but I would not recommend it. I do not think it would be a good idea. You're going to be able to kill her a lot faster if you have a 5 or 6 link. But again, you can do this with a 5 link relatively easily. You're still going to pretty much one-shot all the bosses, so if you don't feel like spending a lot of money on a 6 link, then just go with a 5 link. Or again, just get a Tabula and make sure you have over 5k health, which is pretty easy. I'm just scaling increased duration right now on the tree, so I could get more life, but you know, I don't really need it at the moment. We do have our cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, and increased duration setup. Now this Bladefall isn't here for any specific reason. I'm just leveling it. Again, you're gonna have so many extra links. You don't really need much to run this build in terms of links. Okay, and here we've got increased duration, Val Lightning Trap, Val Grace, and then another Bladefall, which is, you know, done leveling. I could honestly just take that out, but increased duration, Val Lightning Trap, Val Grace. Your Val Grace is going to be up for, you see it here, 11.5 seconds, so that's an insane amount of time for having max chance to dodge spells and attacks. And I guess now we'll get into the tree. I started as Witch, and I am Occultist. Actually, we'll get into that later. I'm an Occultist Witch, though. We've got the Energy Shield and Mana Regen, and the Energy Shield here. Again, we don't need the Energy Shield, but going this way is pretty inefficient in terms of getting life and getting AoE. So we go up the mana side because we are aggro, so we're going to lose out on the evasion, and on the Energy Shield. Sorry, not the evasion. On the Energy Shield, so there's no point in not getting more mana because, again, 1, 2, 3, like I have to mana pot regardless, so it's nice to just have a little bit of mana regen and max mana so you can, you know, put your trap down multiple times. Then we go into Blast Radius for obvious reasons, increased area damage, more increased area damage, and increased area effect. We get the mana and life notes basically for life. The mana isn't too crucial, but it does help, to be honest. We do go to Volatile Mines next, so when you detonate mines, you don't like do the dry hump of the ground where your character just like jerks back and forth, and it's basically like, you have a chance to be stunned during it, so you don't want that to happen. It's just instant. As soon as you press your detonate, it happens. It's super important node, and as long as you get that mind damage as well. So we do have increased radius of curses. Again, that's going to go with how wide my curses are on the screen, and also the curse effectiveness. We do get more life here, and ES. It's mainly for the life though. Extra traps, more mind, or extra mines, extra mind damage. We do get the evasion, all rest here. We do scale a little bit of the damage over time because I think entropy, these 3 nodes are really insane. More life, more mind damage, evasion, life, flask effect, acro, super important part of the build. Definitely my favorite node on the tree right now, phase acro and acrobatics. And when we come down here, we've got life, resist on this jewel. That's pretty much it. And leadership, another very important part of this build, so you can get more radius on your blasphemy curses. Harrier for the increased attack speed and move speed. Actually, somebody was in my stream the other day. I was like, hey, why don't you get Harrier? So I got Harrier and I liked it. So there's that. We do go over the ES, which again isn't gonna help us, and it's not, but it's the most efficient way to get to the Scion life rectangle, whatever this is now. Anyway, we filled out the Scion life wheel, or the life rectangle, and then we got curse effectiveness here. So we do have 30% increased effective curses from our tree, which is insane. It's going to make the mobs a lot slower. It's going to make them take a lot more damage over time and a lot more physical damage, which is what we're scaling with Bladefall. Right now I'm getting increased skill effect duration, so we're going to have, you know, we got 20% here, 25% here. Valgrice is going to be longer, our Val Lightning Trap is going to be longer. It's gonna be nice to have that. Again, if you didn't want to get that, if you're comfortable with having, you know, I'm pretty comfortable with having, you know, 12 seconds up on my Valgrice. You could get more life right here. Just hop to this Dex node and grab the Hired Killer set right here. Or even if you wanted more life after that, you could get this life in ES and just get this node for the, or just get this circle for the life, basically. But that's pretty much it, guys. Actually, as far as leveling goes, you're pretty much going to level as a miner. You're going to level, I just bought a Tabula and started leveling, used a 6-link. Before Bladefall, you're just going to use Mine and Firestorm. Yes, Firestorm. You're going to use Mine and Firestorm, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing. And you're just going to level to there. I started doing Atziri at level 80. I'm level 84 now. It gives really good experience. I had 5k health when I started her. I haven't had any problems running Atziri at all. Made quite a bit of currency too. And overall, if I were to use a Tabula, which I could, or you could, would make this build a lot cheaper. You're probably talking 3.5, 4x maybe to do this. So I wouldn't recommend this as a starter character. I mean, you could do it. I will make a mapping guide for this build later on. It actually does incredibly well in maps, especially if you just want to switch into Beanos and get that dot proliferating to all the mobs. It does really well in maps as well, and I'll make a video guide on that later. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. I know a lot of you in chat were asking for a guide for my Atziri farming character. So this is it, the Atziri bot Bob. Bob tries again. This is this character. My first one died because we had a little upsetting, you know, we didn't have phase aggro, you know, that's why we died pretty much. But anyway, I will see you guys in stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace.